What's going on YouTube? Jacob here with Veteran Pro Wash. Now in this video, I'll be sharing two statements that you possibly will hear from a customer or even some other soft wash companies at some point if you are a business owner in this industry. Also in this video, we will be discussing a few methods towards the end that will prove that these two statements can be used at the same time to achieve one solution. These statements are based around pressure washers being utilized with improper techniques or lack of knowledge that could result in damaging property due to blasting surfaces with high pressure that are unable to withstand the amount of pressure that is being applied to them. Also, different methods or techniques to ensure property protection to all of your customers. I'm going to share some of my opinions as well as some of our other tips and tricks and do's and don'ts that we find most effective. At the end of this video, if you are uncertain on how to achieve success as someone new with little to no experience in this industry, as well as getting your business off the ground or to the next level, then the first link in the description will take you to the absolute best and also #1 selling pressure washing and soft washing course that this world has to offer. This course gives you everything that you need to know to get started, such as all the different chemicals to use. It will also teach you all about the proper mixing ratios to achieve success and satisfaction on every single job you come across. You will also be shown in depth every bit of equipment as well as parts necessary to get chemical flowing through the end of your nozzle or J-rod, whatever it is you prefer to use, and gain the knowledge, start growing, and the big bills will start flowing. Somewhere along that path, through the privilege of serving the public and owning a soft wash and pressure washing business, the two statements that you are likely to hear are that one, pressure washing is a bad thing to do to my home and that it will be too much pressure on my stucco, vinyl, whatever it may be, and it will do damage to my home. Or the second statement being that you need pressure washing in order to ensure that all surfaces around my home are 100% clean by the time you leave. Now, to me, those two statements can be seen as some pretty obvious statements. Obvious being that yes, the use of high pressure can damage surfaces on a home, and with the other statement, also yes, without the proper knowledge and experience of applying chemical to kill off or loosen the living organisms such as algae or buildup, the first thought could be to just blast it at a high pressure, which can be very risky to fully clean the surface that you are trying to get to look new again. To lower the risk while maintaining the ability to use a pressure washer to reach those high areas, you need a way to get some detergent coming through your pressure washing wand. A budget-friendly way to achieve this through things such as downstream injectors, X-Jets, or an upstream injector, and can be applied to the surface with a low pressure tip. Most of the residential jobs we do hardly ever require the use of high pressure tips, with the obvious exception of flat surfaces such as concrete or some brick surfaces. The low pressure tips that we use every day are referred to as a J-rod. Our J-rods that we buy are capable of holding up to 4 different tips. It's a personal preference as far as which tips you should go with or which ones you want to go with. We find that more open or tips that are a step above from what the chart tell you are better for reach, mostly on our stream tips. We find that whenever it comes to like our 8 gallon a minute pressure washer or the 11 gallon a minute AR45 pump, we find that those more open tips give us a better stream depending on how high you're trying to go. Now, even on our 5.5, we use the same tip that we use on the 8 just to achieve that further stream, that more direct stream and tighter stream coming out of the end of the tip. We see it as more of a personal preference. J-rod tips can be swapped out if they get worn out, if you're running chemical through them, or if you just want to swap to a different tip. Maybe it's a different degree tip you're looking for, but you can swap these out by just unthreading the one that you want to replace, wrapping the threads on the new tip with some Teflon tape, and then just threading it into the slot on the J-rod that you want to put it in. We personally only utilize 2 spots on all of our J-rods due to our opinion of not needing so many different tips, carrying around the extra weight of 2 extra tips as well as a 4-way J-rod. We break ours in half with a pair of channel locks. That way we can create 2 separate J-rods because we run the same tips on our pressure washing J-rods as we do on our soft wash J-rods whenever it comes to the gas pump, and especially the 8 gallon a minute on the trailer. So you buy a J-rod, it's got 4 spots that you can put 4 different tips. Take a pair of channel locks. Each spot on the J-rod is welded together. Take 2 pairs of channel locks. May need a vise depending on how well it's welded together. Break it in half so you have 2 spots in one hand and 2 spots in the other hand. You can slap 2 tips on each of those, and now you got yourself 2 J-rods. And that works for us. We don't necessarily ever swap out tips. We're always able to run the same tips on every single single job. But if you want all 4 spots on yours to hold a different type of tip or 2 of the same tip, then that's completely up to you. It's a personal preference. In one of the 2 spots, we have a stream tip or a long range tip, which allows us to achieve anywhere from around 45 to 60 foot on a non-windy day. More gallons per minute will achieve stronger and further streams. On the second spot of our J-rods, we like to place a low pressure fan tip. This is a very effective tip to have at closer ranges on walkable roofs or pre-treating or post-treating concrete, or even when you're running around spraying and washing a house. A fan tip is utilized to cover a much larger area at closer ranges. This can also be a plus when you're trying to conserve or stretch chemical to last versus having to utilize a stream tip and cover a smaller spot. But another way you can cut pressure even further back, if you are using that downstream injector or that X-Jet, you can throttle down your pressure washer, or you can just turn your unloader back if you have one. Either of these adjustments will reduce flow of water being pushed through the end of the nozzle or the wand. And after applying the chemical or the detergent, it takes very little effort to rinse the surface clean. If you're looking at the idea of utilizing your pressure washer to spray detergent as well as rinse after, apply the chemical to all the surfaces that need to be hit with chemical. And when you're ready to rinse, simply just pull the drop stick or hose, whatever you have, out of the chemical tank or the bucket, flush it out good to fully rinse the detergent out of the pump. When you're ready to rinse everything that you just sprayed chemical on with the same tips that were used to apply the chemical, we start back where we first applied chemical and then take the same route to rinse the chemical as well as any dirt, algae, or other buildup that the chemical was able to break the bond and detach from the home or surface. You have achieved soft washing with a pressure washer. We use our pressure washer to rinse everything except for shingle roofs. We have only used an injector maybe twice, but it is a very effective and cheap way if you're just getting started or if that's something that you're interested in. So sure, someone with little to no experience, whether they're you need to blast it clean and use a whole bunch of pressure on my home to get it 100% clean, if they're that type of person, or if they're the person that says pressure washers don't do anything but tear everything up and there's way too much risk putting that much pressure on my home. Like I said in the beginning, both of these are true, but you can also use both methods as one and come up with a solution for it. And that is just simply by taking one of those 3 attachments that I explained earlier. Be sure that you're spending the money on the right one that's going to do good with your pump on your pressure washer, and you will have no issues achieving both being able to apply pressure as well as soft washing with a pressure washer. But our goal, as well as your goals, should be to achieve 100% property protection first and safety, and 100% customer satisfaction on any job we come across and any job that you come across. That's all I got for this one. Y'all be sure to hit that like and subscribe button as well. My name is Jacob with Veteran Pro Wash, and as always, y'all stay happy, humble, and money hungry.